and then stop the transcript. So before we start, it's probably worthwhile on the Elexon side, just as doing some quick introductions. It's myself, Ian, and Alex on the call today. So my name's Mark Scott. So I'm an ITSM consultant. I've been working on the Helix program and doing the service management elements with Ian. I've been around since the back end of April this year. Like I say, working through, so kind of been working with Ian on the low-level service design, service definition document, and then kind of obviously more recently the ops manual, which this call's kind of designed to support that activity. Ian, over to you because you're the next person I can see.
Yeah, hi everybody, thanks for joining. I'm Ian Giles, leading on the service design and transition for the Helix program. But also we all, Mark and Alex, have a dual role in that we're also building out the service capability in the service management space for Elexon. I've been with the organisation since the beginning of Feb this year.
And I'm Alex Nash. I've just started working for Ian Giles and with Mark, like Ian said, in the service management team. Learning as I go at the moment, but we'll be heavily involved with you guys, I think, with the SIT testing that comes into effect early next year. And that's it for now. And yeah.
Thanks, Alex. So obviously, as people would have seen, we've kind of published the service definition document and the low-level service design, and the next step on now is to produce kind of the service operating manual, and a lot of that is covering off kind of the interactions, and it's more kind of industry facing. So it's how we kind of interact with you guys and how you guys can interact with us. So we'll cover things such as the kind of major incident process and change process through this. So it's the objective is to develop the manual further and kind of get a bit feedback where we can from you guys on some of the things we're looking to do. And the expected outcome is for you guys to have a great understanding of the interactions between yourselves and Elexon. And then the next steps are the further development of the service operations manual. So myself and Ian have been working on that over the last kind of few weeks. And that, again, keep me honest, Ian, that's due to be published end of November, ready for December TORWIG, and then go to MCAG in Jan.
Yes, that's correct. So looking at the first draft for TORWIG to then receive any comments on the documents, and then once we've addressed those comments, then we'll go for MCAG sign off January in time for SIT service management testing to start on the 3rd of Feb next year.
Yes, thank you. So major incident is the one that we found that kind of people are most interested in and concerned about. Concerned is probably too strong a word, but most interested in, and kind of most interested in kind of find out the more detail as to how it would work. So we're going to go through the kind of the way that the major incident process works, the communication, and how the communication plans work, the resolution, and then the tooling, and then finally, it's kind of what we need from you, and I'll cover that off, and it's to do with the request for information we sent out around the Microsoft form. So those who, and we'll talk about the form in a little bit, but for those who haven't had it, if you haven't had the form, if you could reply to the mailbox that sent the invites out, they'll be able to send you a copy of the form. A link to the form will also be held in the slides that we're publishing for TORWIG, which I believe are going out today. So there's a further link in there if people haven't had it. So the way the major incident process works is that we have kind of 2 points of ingress into the Elexon service desk. We have the service portal, and then we have a telephone line as well, which will be answered by the service desk. Typically, if it's a standard kind of P3 only impacting yourself incident, that's the kind of thing we'd expect to kind of go through the portal. However, if you are experiencing something that you believe to be a major incident and impacting the industry more widely, we would kind of recommend that you call that in. If it's logged in the portal, we've set a target of 15 minutes to have that triaged. And if the case is logged over the phone, obviously we kind of reduce that 15 minutes by quite a considerable amount, and it helps us identify major incidents more quickly. Once it's with the service desk will kind of undertake that triage piece to understand whether it is a major incident or not. What they then do is they put a request in to promote the case to become a major incident. That request then goes through to the major incident team. They pick that up immediately, and they will then review that to judge whether it's a major incident. So my view on a major incident, if my laptop's blown up, that's a major incident to me. But in the scheme of the wider world, clearly it's not industry wide, it's not industry impacting. So when we would get people logging stuff that to them is a major incident, but it'll be reviewed, and the criteria is all held in the ops manual that we're kind of due to publish shortly. The major incident manager would then review that. We would then send out the initial communication, and I'll come on to the communication groups in a moment. We send out the communication, say, right, we've got an issue. DIP's not transacting. It's not pushing any messages through. This is the current state. He would then spin up a technical call with the appropriate resolver groups to look to then affect a resolution on that. And then the comms would then continue to come out, and they would come directly from ServiceNow. Sorry, just wait with 1 second. I do have a table next to me. Yeah, so it's every 30 minutes to 1 hour during kind of the investigations as an update to people. Additionally, anybody that raised the original case would also receive the updates directly from ServiceNow. As part of the comms piece as well, there's also an update generally being put onto the BSC website for any P1, and also industry circulars are published from time to time. The criteria for when we publish an industry circular is included in the ops manual as well. So the major incident team would kind of manage that incident through to resolution, and certainly for the high priority systems, use DIP as an example, that will be a 24-hour, a 24/7 operation to affect the resolution. And again, once that incident's resolved, comms will then further comms will be sent out to the people that have requested them, informing people of the resolution of that incident, and it would then kind of fall into what we have as the problem process, which would look at the underlying kind of root cause of why that incident happened, to provide future mitigating actions and put things in place so the incident shouldn't happen again. And that would kind of flow through to the problem process, and there may be further actions required on that. It may well have been human error, so it might be a training issue. It may well be a technical issue. It could have been a power outage somewhere. But we'd look into all of those kind of things to determine what mitigating action we can take to prevent the major incident in future. As part of the comms piece that I spoke about, we sent the project management office sent a form out, I think about a week ago, and a number of people, quite a few people have filled it in already, and I'll be reviewing the responses on Friday. And the idea is within that, people can list email addresses of people or mailboxes or groups or teams that they would like to have the email sent on for major incident notifications. And that list will then sit in ServiceNow. There's some text in the operations manual as well about kind of the levers and starters. So when you want somebody new adding to that or somebody removing from that list, there'll be some text in there. And typically that will be kind of a case of raising a service request to get somebody added or removed from that list. The list can be the list of people we send to. As I understand, there's no limit to the number of people we can send things through. So Josh, you've not had the form?
No, sorry. I'm
That's
just
fine.
from SSE service delivery. I just didn't want to stop your flow. So yeah, if we could just get the one added that I've got in the that I put in the chat, that would be great, because a lot of the time it's going to be us that's picking up or dealing with if the system falls over or there's ever an issue. That would be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll get that across to you. And like I say, there's a link to the form as well in the 4-week slides that will be going out as well. So, but if anybody hasn't got it, either kind of mention it now, we'll get it sent out. It's absolutely fine. And equally, it will be in tour with them. And as part of the tour week slides as well that we've pulled together, we do talk about the form again, because it's really helpful to get that information from people.
Mark,
and I guess
this is the form you sent out on the 31st, isn't it? With the hot link you're talking about, or was it something else?
No, it's probably the one we've only sent one form. I didn't send it; it came from the PMO, so it should just be a Microsoft form called information gathering.
Okay. Bit confused because we've had other forms from the Helix mailbox on the 31st, so I'm wondering if that's got something to do with it.
Okay, I'll
Might
look
just be
into
worth
that.
sending it to this group, I think, Mark, because I'm certainly a bit lost as to what form we're on about myself now.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. We can resend it to this group. That's not a problem, and that's where we got the distribution list from anyway. The group on here. Ian, whilst we're on, are you able to just double check what any text that came out? And sorry, any
yes, I'll check,
emails that came out? Thanks, mate. I'm just going to look in the chat. So wait 1 second. Ian, are you able to just double check that form that's been popped into the chat as well to see if it is the one we're referring to? I think it probably is, because I did send it a short.
Yes, that's the form.
That's the form. So the form is in the chat for everybody. Thanks, Vinny. So, and I guess the other element when we say kind of what do we need from you? Well, first of all, it's obviously the comms around us letting you know when there's a major incident, but also there's an element of where you guys are experiencing issues that may well have a downstream or knock-on impact onto other things we're doing as an information only. It's how you would normally communicate that out to kind of wider parties, and I don't know if anybody's got any particular views on that. Is it normally just email comms that we would need to get added to a distribution list in the same way that we would add you guys to the Elexon one for publishing the major incident notifications?
Hi, it's Amanda Ragg here from Head of Change Management. I can't actually see anyone from our incident team on the call, so we'll have to come back to you on that. I do believe they send out a comms themselves, so that's how the process works.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amanda. And we will be including the email addresses and that kind of thing in the service operations manual as well. So, okay. and we'll come on to change in a bit. And the process will be very similar for change, although there's a few more reporting elements that we're doing. So you might be interested in that.
Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions on the major incident elements?
Apologies. Yeah, sorry. I've dipped in. I didn't raise my hand. Apologies. Yeah, I was just. I'm fairly new, so don't have all of the detail. Colleagues asked me to join this.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've got more of a list of what the different priorities are within your service now,
Yes.
How they link, what the response times are, and resolution times that are expected, plus workflows.
The service operations manual doesn't include the workflows. That's contained within the low-level service design documents that have been published.
I mean, in terms of running through a major incident.
Well, that would be contained within the actual process flow within the low-level service design. the service operation manual just describes the process. It doesn't contain any kind of Visio flows to show that, because it's a companion document to the low-level service design.
Okay, but all those get shared with us, do they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, okay.
The low-level service design and the service definition documents have all been shared previously. The service operations manual, which again is a supplement to that, is coming out towards the end of the month.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, it's just been dropped on me, so I'm not sure what's been shared already or not. So yeah, thank you.
I'll look into. I believe the documents are on the collaboration hub, but we'll look into that. We'll get back to you, Stephen.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Could we get a quick update to Nikesh just before the...
Sorry, Chris, you got your hand up?
Yeah, hi, Mark. Just a quick question. It's not specifically on the incident management process in general, but the coverage of that incident management process, we've been having some discussions about whether that would cover like the DIP and certification processes if there are issues with that, or whether that would need to be dealt with separately through Avanade. What is the outlook on that? Does the major incident process, if it was to do with certifications or anything of that nature, would that flow through your processes, or would there have to be a separate process?
Yes, it would. Yeah. So the certification for individual certificate, from looking through the documentation, it's up to the individual organisation to renew that certificate, and that will be treated as a one-off incident. And my understanding is, although they're valid for 12 months, they're actually valid for 13 months. That gives organisations a month's grace to get those renewed. And I think there's a countdown timers on informing people that that there is a countdown to the certificate expiring. And I take it you talk about the kind of the certs to connect to DIP, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, however, if we had an issue where all of the certs expired, or there was an issue with everybody being unable to renew their certs at that point, that would absolutely be a major incident. Yes, and we would manage that. We would manage that. We wouldn't expect people to go direct to Avanade for that.
Okay, so you would manage that with Avanade, and it would become a major incident through your processes rather than having to have a separate process.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Very well. You're on mute, I think. Unless your hand's up in error. Okay, we can always come back to Ralph, I guess. So, his hand's down. Right. So, we'll kind of briefly touch on the kind of incident management process, and kind of within this is more about portal use and your ability to kind of log things with us. So this would typically be the kind of, for the incident management stuff, it would be more around the kind of the P3 things where they're just impacting kind of single users or a very small subset of users. So as I mentioned earlier, the primary interface for that is the Elexon service portal. We're currently doing a piece of work at the moment to compare the attendee organisations to the workshops against those people that have already registered an account on the portal. If people have registered with Connect, there's a portal account is automatically created for those people. Excuse me. The process around getting access to the portal, it's a self-registration piece. You go onto the portal, you can select register, and then you kind of work through the form to register an account. It'll send you an email confirmation, set your password up, and Sophie, sorry about the deadline on the form. Really, as soon as possible. We want to kind of get the operation manual out by the end of the month, so it'll be useful to have a lot of the information by that point. However, if people aren't able to get that to us until the end of December, that's entirely fine. We'll update the document as the form gets updated.
Great.
Sorry, Stephen.
Thank you.
That's okay, no problem. Sorry, Stephen, did you have a question?
Yeah, and again, apologies, might have been covered before.
That's all right.
So, for raising incidents, is there any integrations, or is it only done manually through the portal?
There's no integration with with any external parties or participants, ServiceNow or anything like that, at the moment it is all log it through the portal or call it in.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And that's not to say that we wouldn't look at that at some point in the future. We've looked at that kind of thing already. However, it's going to be based on volume. So if we have an organisation that's logging 1 a week, for example, would there really be an appetite for us to go down any kind of integration route? If we've got somebody that's logging 100 a week, there's a very different conversation to be had there, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Is it Vinay?
Yeah, hi. A very quick question around the timing of this incident management, when this will be kicked in execution. Is it going to, will this come into the play when the migration will start, or will it cover some during the qualification testing? Also, like some issues that are happening on the qualification testing due to, let's say, certification issues. Somebody asked about the certs or something. So what is the timing basically when any supplier will be in production, then this will kick in, right? Or is it like it will apply during some qualification testing phase too?
The suppliers are being onboarded at the moment. The full build of ServiceNow is due to be dropped in, keep me honest here, in Jan. Although the incident management modules are already in place. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, yes, in January, the modules, mid-January, the modules are available for the SIT testing and our own UAT testing as well.
Okay, so let's say we as one supplier is a part of qualification testing phase, the incident management process will apply there as well. Is that how I understand?
I don't believe
it.
I don't believe it's for the for the qualification process.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is for the kind of the IT kind of service incidents where there's where the system failures. That's right, isn't it, Ian?
Okay.
Yes, that's right. Unless there was a major incident,
technical
that
issues
impacts
preventing
us from qualification.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understood. Thanks.
Mark, it's Alex. I think a couple of people have got problems coming off mute. I don't know, but I tried to unmute everybody to see if I think it's Ralph wants to ask a question. Yeah, he can't get off mute. So I don't know if you can try your end as the call scheduler.
I wasn't the call scheduler, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Ian, will it let you do it? Let me just try muting all and then. Hold on. Doesn't let me do it, I don't think.
Ralph, you want to just try popping your question in the chat? Oh, hang on, I think you already have done.
Yeah.
Yes, Lee, to your question, and Ralph, that will all be contained within the service operations manual. It gives a kind of a broad outline as to what would be considered a major incident. That's a document that will be out to people by the end of the month. Okay. So going back to the portal, like I say, it's a self-registration piece. There are a couple of things to consider. First of all, like I say, we're doing a report at the moment to understand which organisations, which people don't currently have. Thanks, Ralph. Don't currently have access to the portal. And whilst it is a self-registration process, clearly, if we've got 100 people that don't have current access to the portal, it makes perfect sense for us to kind of get those details from you guys and do a bulk upload. And we're happy to do that. And it would mean that people would get an email from the system to say you've been registered and you go through the process as normal. It just kind of stops everyone having to kind of register themselves. And the second thing is where some organizations will have service desks. If you raise a case on the portal, you can only see the cases that you've raised as an individual with the standard access rights. However, we are able to apply what they're terming super user access rights, which allows you to see all of the cases for your organization. So the example I keep using is something like DCC that have a service desk. What you wouldn't want is for me to take a call from a customer one day, log that case on the portal, that customer then to call back in and perhaps get Ian, and Ian be unable to see the case that I'd raised. So those people would be able to see all of the cases for their organisation. They would not be able to see the case details for anybody else, any other organisation. There is a data kind of restriction piece in place there. But that will be contained in the service ops manual. It'll be a standard service request, and we can provide those access rights to anybody that requests them. It's just as a heads up on that. That's all. Sorry, Lee, have you got a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify those access rights. Are they to be set by the company, or are you going to think of something else, such as category signatories for the company?
Well, there are only two levels of access, and it's super user and user.
Yeah, so who gets to determine those? Is that, I guess, is the question? Is that first as a supplier or company?
Yeah,
or
absolutely. It will be up to you guys to request it. Yeah, absolutely. But we'll grant those rights. Yeah.
No, that sounds good. I'm just a bit concerned it might have been restrictive, but that doesn't sound to be the case. Thank you.
No, it's very much if you want everybody in your organisation to have the super user access rights, that's absolutely fine. All it means is you can see things that other people have logged within your organisation. So we're not concerned about data integrity or anything like that. Sorry, Neil?
Hi, Mark. When you say organisation, do you mean MPID or the wider organisation? We have multiple MPIDs, hence the question.
Right. So there's a further piece here, Neil, around the way that the accounts are set up, and we can apply those super user rights across wider organisations. So it'll include everybody that's linked to the master organisation. Does that make sense?
Okay, I think probably we need to see how that's done. Maybe
Neil,
an example.
I'm more than happy to set up a separate call with you for this one, because this has been queried by a couple of other people in the past, and we've just set up a kind of 15-minute call just to kind of run through that, because it involves that kind of parent-child relationships and that kind of thing. So it can be a little bit of a complicated thing to explain, but I'm more than happy to set up a separate call, Neil, with you.
Yes, please. I suspect the other large suppliers are exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
Neil. Yeah, I think that might be a constituency call, Mark, if I'm honest, because I have the same concern. Or
that's
concern,
absolutely fine. Yeah. We've organised these calls by constituency. So what we can do is we'll take the existing distribution list, and we can just set up a call for people just to run through this in kind of 15 minutes. It'll just require me to put another slide together to demonstrate it. And the text around it is also included within the service operations manual. But it's definitely something we can do that allows where you have a terrible example, but where you've got an organisation that has a number of customers underneath them. The master or the parent organisation would be able to see the case against all of those people beneath them, but the people beneath wouldn't be able to see anything. Very broadly, I probably not explain that very well, but I can pull a couple of slides together, send them out, and then we can have a quick 15-minute call if that works for people. Okay, good. So that's the portal. When things have been logged on the portal or using or phoning things in, whoever's logged the case will receive the updates. So Neil, I'm looking at you because you're in the bottom corner of our screen at the moment. So if you were to log something on the portal, as the updates are made against that particular case, you will get email notifications to say this is the latest update. And equally, if I go onto the portal as another member of your organisation, I could see the updates within that as well. So, to my example earlier, if you're off on leave and I'm getting a phone call from somebody asking what the update is, I can look through that and see exactly what the current status of that case is. Just very briefly on the kind of the instant resolution piece, I don't think I mentioned this to the previous sessions. What would happen is that we would get to a point of resolving an incident. That then goes into the state of resolved, and you would get an email notification telling you that that case has been resolved. You then have 5 days, because you'll get an email confirming that saying it's been resolved. You have 5 days then to reopen that should that not be resolved. And it'll move then into a closed state after 5 days, and that closed state means it then can't be reopened. But when you get the email through, you get 2 buttons. You get one saying it's not fixed for me, or second, it is all fixed. If you click it is all fixed, that'll then take it to the closed state straight away. So if you're saying the slides aren't changing for you?
Yeah, I'm still on the agenda one. I've tried to leave and rejoin. It's not changing though. I don't know if anyone else is having the same issue.
Yeah,
Even now.
it's the same for me. Still on the agenda.
Changing now, yeah.
Oh, I can see it change now. I can see a change incident management slide now.
Been fine
Yeah, so
here all the way.
Can everyone see the incident management agenda one?
Yeah, I can see the agenda at the moment.
Yeah, I can
So I
see it
think
now. Now it's at major. Now it's at agenda.
Yes, we've got the main agenda, then we've got major incident agenda, incident management agenda, then change.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, sorry, I was confused because you're referring to something in the bottom of your screen. I didn't know if there was a diagram or a
No,
something.
sorry, I was referring to Neil, to be honest, Sophie, because he was in my eye line.
Oh, got yeah. Okay, sorry.
sorry for the confusion there. So that's the kind of the incident kind of management stuff, and then we've got the change one as well. And the change is something that is going to be kind of managed by an internal kind of change management team. So changes are generally raised. They're assessed for kind of impact and risk and impact. If it's a low, it goes straight through to the change management team for assessment and approval or otherwise. If it's anything other than a low, that would then go to the change advisory board for review. And one of the things we need to come on to in a little bit is the kind of the attendees to that, and that will be then reviewed with the business stakeholders and the kind of the technical teams to assess when that change can be implemented. There are a couple of reports that we would look to send out, and that again was another reason for the form going out, was to get the key contacts from your organisations as to where we need to be kind of notifying people of the change process. So there's 2 main reports that would be going out. There'll be the forward schedule of change, which will go out on a weekly basis, and that will then detail any changes that are due to be implemented in the future, as its name would suggest. And then equally, we would have another report coming out detailing the changes that were due to be completed the previous week, and that then would come out on a weekly basis. So the changes that were due to be completed, they may well be successful, they may well have been backed out with issues, they may well be not implemented at all, those kind of things. So all that detail will be held within the change report, and all the details of that is contained within the ops manual as well. So again, what we need from you guys is just who you'd like to have that change notification go to, and that's kind of contained within the form, and we'll get you added. Again, this is all automated, so it's an automated report that comes out on a scheduled basis from ServiceNow. So this isn't a manual thing, and that list of people again will be held in ServiceNow. Again, the only thing we need to kind of work with you guys on kind of as part of the enduring process is making sure we've got a fairly robust kind of adds and removes or started and leavers type process to get people removed from that and get people added when required. And that will be again be standard service requests. And again, the only other thing on that as well is a bit like the major incident stuff, and it's contained within the ops manual, is how then you can tell us about any potential changes that you guys are undertaking, just so we've got information only changes from you guys. We're not there to approve any of your changes. That's not really for us to kind of get involved in, but it is useful to be aware of any changes that are coming up. So certainly, if there's any kind of system type stuff, we're not clashing. Sorry, Stephen. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one on that.
Yeah.
If there are any questions back on any of those changes, what's the mechanism for that?
When we've kind of said we're going to make this change, we've sent the full schedule of change out to you guys.
Yeah. If there's any questions about more clarification to understand it more or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be a combination of attendance at the change advisory board, and and then that's all contained within the service ops manual. But equally, there'll be a shared mailbox that the report will reference. So it's just a case of emailing back into the change management team.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions on change? Oh, Amanda, yeah.
Hello. So I don't really know a complete idea of the whole project and everything and how it all working, but I'm assuming that you'll be making changes from your side.
Yes.
That could potentially impact Centrica's side. Is that correct?
Potentially, yes. Yeah. If we're making changes to some of the systems, there are, and that's part of the reason for kind of sharing that information with people. And I think one of the things we want to kind of touch on as part of the service ops manual when we get the feedback is kind of attendance at the change advisory board for you guys to have a voice in that.
Okay. And do you, I mean, the other thing is, I suppose I can provide a list of changes from our side. We have a report that goes out. But I suppose it's understanding what systems you'll be interested in, or will it be everything? Or
I think what we don't want to do, Amanda, is try and create a cottage industry for each individual organisation to spend a ridiculous amount of time kind of filtering changes that we may or may not be interested in. I think it's probably easier and it's more effective to send everything, and our change team will kind of will look at that and kind of judge whether we need to be aware of anything. I don't really want to put too much of that back on you guys, because I just don't think that's particularly fair. I think and it's easy. We had quite a lengthy conversation about something similar the other day, and it's when it comes to things like major incident. Personally, I have the view that I'd rather receive every major incident notification, and I'll determine what I don't want that I'm not kind of concerned about, rather than try and filter that and then miss something that I should have seen.
Yeah.
And I think the same could be true of change, especially when we've got such a complex landscape in kind of the IT wise. I think it's very easy to not understand some downstream impacts of tools. So I might say, well, we're doing a change to this. We're doing that next Tuesday. I'm not interested in that really. But then 2 or 3 days later, there's a downstream impact that you would absolutely have been interested in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it does. And like you say, it's better to know everything rather than not, and then find out
that's
a couple of hours later that it could have been, you could have provided some valuable input into a resolution if there was an issue.
Indeed, and I know not everyone shares that view. But equally, I think that there's a further complication of how many different lists do you have for major incidents, for example. It's just not. I just don't think it's practical to do a separate list for each system.
Yeah.
Because there's downstream impacts.
Okay.
So,
is there? It sounded like when you were talking earlier, there is going to be an integration with our service now. So when were you?
No. At this stage, there's no integration with anybody else's service now.
Okay.
It's not. Excuse me. This is not something we're saying never on, but it'll need to be assessed on an individual basis. And like I was saying earlier, that if people are logging one thing a week, the value is not there, because there's quite a significant cost in doing the integration. But if somebody's logging 100 things a day, it's definitely a conversation we need to be having to understand, should we be doing the integration piece, just because it costs us all money, doesn't it, to log stuff. And if you know, if you've got one person on your side dedicated, we've got another person on our side dedicated, you kind of go, well, there's an argument there. Could be a cost saving there.
Yeah. Okay. And is all the kit that you're working on, is that all owned by yourselves and it's on your side, or will there be? When you say kits, do you mean where the applications are hosted? Yeah.
They're in Azure AD. Sorry, not they're in Azure AD at all. They're in Azure.
In Azure. Okay.
That's correct, isn't it, Ian? Keep me honest.
Yes, it is.
There you go. Yes.
Okay.
It's
that'll all be owned and managed by yourselves then?
Yes. The instances. Sorry, the instances are owned and managed by Elexon. The applications are supported by various third parties, such as Avanade for DIP, for example. But the actual Azure instances, as I understand it, are owned and managed by Elexon. So the bill for those Azure instances comes to Elexon. It doesn't go to Avanade for then onward billing. We own that.
Right. Okay. No, that's all good. Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have any further questions? Hello. Yeah.
Are there any planned maintenance activities that you would have, and how are they dealt with?
They will be published from the change management team. So they, as part of the forward scheduler change, any change windows, change freezes, that kind of thing will all be published.
Thank you. The other thing that I wanted to ask is about whatever we are trying to list out here. Would we conduct an operational acceptance testing to confirm the alignment to whatever we are discussing out here is confirmed in a testing phase?
So we've got the SIT testing planned for the 3rd of Feb. So that would be the main testing around the service management processes. Although it's SIT testing, there isn't a large element of the SIT testing that does cover the service management processes, and that's the activities are taken on the 3rd of Feb. And from our side, that's a piece of work that Alex is kind of helping coordinate. Does that answer your question?
I'm a bit confused because earlier on one of the questions that you have mentioned that the incident management process will be tested against the production instances and so on, and it is not applicable for SIT. But however, now you say that SIT will cover even the operational acceptance testing, i.e. the service aspect of this.
Sorry, no. So the SIT is demonstrating testing on our service management processes with the external participants like yourself and the central service suppliers and providers, and that's our first milestone, and that's the points of having the SIT operations manual in time and ready to prepare whoever's doing the SIT testing from a participant point of view for the 3rd of Feb. Then once that is done, then we focus on getting ready for M10 readiness, where there will be operational acceptance testing done as term of products and suppliers and the remaining service management processes.
Thank you, Giles. That should help me.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions at all? No. Okay. Well, if that's all, I just want to thank everyone for your time. It's I know it's a big ask to kind of pull people out of their kind of working day for an hour, so we really do appreciate it, and we appreciate all the kind of the feedback we've had on the LLSD, SDD, and going forward it'll be the operations manual as well. So thanks again for all your time. Oh, Kirsty's got
one more hand.
Question.
I apologise. I wasn't going to do that, but I did have just one point of clarification. So, a lot of what we've gone through today, I was assuming would be from market-wide go live, sort of next Septemberish time onwards. But then it was mentioned the operational manual is for SIT. I was just wondering if we can get some clarification if what we've gone through today is for SIT support, or live production support once market-wide goes live?
Yeah, I can answer that. So this is, well, it is for SIT support. So the operations manual is driving, so there is a readiness to do the SIT service management test cases. There will be elements of what we're preparing for SIT, which will be ready for the M10 go live, I think September as well.
Oh, okay. I think I misunderstood the invite because it didn't make it clear it was for SIT specifically, just as a call out. So I'll make that note. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take that note as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Ruth.
So,
yeah, just a quick one for me. I know you've been recording this session. Where
Yes.
can we find the link to the recording? Because one of my colleagues couldn't make the call, and I know she would very much like to hear what you've just said.
That's okay. We're going to be publishing those in the next day or so.
That's lovely.
So,
thanks ever so much, Mark.
That's no problem. And then Chris, I think you're next.
Yeah, sorry, just on the back of that question, will that be published on the market-wide half-hourly portal, the recording?
I'd need to look into that, Chris. We were originally going to publish it on SharePoint and share that way, but I'll speak to Matthew from the program. I know Matthew was joining the call. I'll speak to him afterwards and just confirm where he'd like us to have that uploaded.
Okay. Yeah, if it can be on there, I think that'd be good because it just means that everything's in the same place. So that wasn't going to be my question. My question was on the agenda that you sent out for this meeting. There was another part of it that was to do with access management and portals, and I had a similar question as the question that I'd placed before around DIP and Avanade as to usage of portals and whether we'd have to use a different portal for the DIP and Avanade elements as to the kind of Elexon portal for change and incident management. So are you not covering that today, or?
No, so the DIP portal is a very, very different thing. So this is all about the kind of the service management elements of the overall service rather than focus on things like the DIP portal.
Okay. So I'm right in thinking there will be a different access to the DIP portal from the Elexon portal that we're going to use for these processes.
Yes, they're not linked at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
No problem. Vinay, I think you're next.
Yeah. So I think in continuation with this SIT service management query, I'm going to ask. So we, as a non-SIT participant, how will we fit into this service management before we go live? Before go live?
When you say fit in, do you mean your ability to kind of raise cases and that kind of thing?
That's right. Yeah. And which phase basically?
Anybody can raise a case. Anybody can raise a case.
Yeah, as part of our service acceptance criteria, which sort of kicks in after SIT. I mean, we've already cross-referenced all the participants. Pretty much have a category in our portal, but we will make sure that everybody is ready for M10 readiness as part of our acceptance criteria.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Kirsty, have you got another question?
Yeah, just really quickly. So just as a follow-on, the form you've requested everybody populate.
Yeah.
Did you also want that from non-SIT parties, or did you only want it for SIT parties?
We'll get the information from everybody, and it's an expression of interest on things like the major incident and the change elements is one of the key elements. So, the more information we get back, the better, because it keeps you guys more informed.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check that we didn't put forward the form when we aren't a SIT party. I just wanted to check. Thank you.
No, it's absolutely fine, and it's not a particularly long form either. There's bits on SLAs and service test there. It's probably not relevant for a lot of people. So that typically then there's only a couple of fields to be filled in. Okay, Chris, have you got another question? I don't know if it's because your hand's still up or.
I think Jeff had one. He might have dropped.
Oh, Prashant, have you got a question?
Yes, going back to the form, I mean, whatever information that we are sending on the form has been provisional, because we do have various parties and help desks involved.
Yep.
So not possible to get a consensus and get a single service desk or an agreement in there. So it is a developing scenario for us as well. So is the expectation true that we will evolve as we get along?
Yes, absolutely. So, and especially the service ops manual is a living document and will be updated kind of iteratively as we go through this and through the enduring service. There is a notes field as well on the form, so you can put information such as that in there.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, have you got another one?
Sorry, no.
Oh no, that's okay. It's okay. Okay, so again, thanks everyone for attending. It's been certainly been a useful session from our point of view. I'll let you get back to the rest of your day. Have a good day, and thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.